Several years ago, when I was in college, taking philosophy class, we had a great instructor, and he often brought in speakers from various religious backgrounds to talk to the class about religion. One week, we were fortunate enough to have a Stoic come in and speak to us on the topic or the belief of Stoicism. Stoicism is simply the belief that we should focus only on those attributes that we can control. In other words, we shouldn't be too hung up on the past because those things have already passed us and left us behind, and we shouldn't be too concerned with the future because we just don't know what that holds. Yes, these are very similar to Buddhism, but I think it goes a little step further in that Stoicism tends to also address the mental states of mind. In other words, we should not ruminate on things in the past. We shouldn't focus on them physically or mentally, and we certainly shouldn't do that for the future as well. Stoics believe we should only focus on those things which we can control. And for a lot of us, that is the present moment. What role does your past currently play in your life? Does it help you to grow stronger? Did you learn a lesson from something you attempted and you're now applying that each day? Or do you just dwell in the past wishing things were the way they were? Or does the past serve some other purpose? Remember, there's no right or wrong. It just requires your attention. So give it a little thought. See what you come up with. So, what about the future? Well, much like the past, the future doesn't really serve us well. We can plan on rain next week, or we can plan on taking our kids to school or a field trip. We can plan on a lot of things. But beyond planning, there are no guarantees in the future. There's nothing concrete in the future. It would be very hard to build a life based on the future. And yet, many do attempt to do so. What we really need is to think about what the past and the present serve in our life. Do they have a function in our life, and what is that function? How much energy and effort have you given that? It's really important that we don't just disregard the future or throw away the past, because as I mentioned earlier, we do have lessons to learn from the past, and the future gives us a sense of hope. But when we ground ourselves in the present moment, the here and now, we begin to not have to worry about tomorrow as much. And we certainly don't have to worry about yesterday. We get to live today for what it is, and we get to live in the moment for what it is. Our take-home lesson from the Stoics could be this. We need to carefully focus our attention. We need to be mindful about our attention. We need to focus on where we place our energy and our effort when it comes to our attention. Do we dwell in the past? Do we fantasize about the future? Or do we live a meaningful life right now, here in the present, minute by minute? I think the power and value of today's discussion is about the present moment, the here and now. I think when we can focus on what we're doing and why we're doing it today, then we come one step closer to being more mindful, more aware, and more alive in the here and now. So it is important to understand and apply what we can do now, mentally, physically. It's important that we channel our energies into what we can do right here, right now, each and every day. And for me, that's a valuable lesson. That's one that crosses the boundaries of Buddhism, Stoicism, many religions. So, beyond that, it's It's all about the attitude, people. We get the right attitude, we get the right mindset. Guess what? There's nothing we can't adapt to or change. Nothing. Today, although I have been talking about the past, the present, and the future, and I have mentioned Stoicism, I think that the lessons, the take-homes, can be carried regardless of the religion or the background. They're just simple knowledge put into practice. And that, to me, is one of the most powerful things we can do. Take what we know, take what we understand, and put it into action. I think that's any religion worth its weight would encourage us to do the same way. It doesn't even have to be a religion. I just think if we apply the right mindset to the right goals, we become better in the end. And when we become better in the end, the world becomes better in the end. So with that in mind, everyone have a great day. Make it count. Peace and love. Jim.